Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, another video here. Today is the next installment of my color series, and if you've been following along or if you read the title of the video you clicked on, you would know we're on purples. I have a lot of purples. I have 3 rings of purples. Can you tell what my favorite color is? So if this is your first time watching this series, I've just been going through the colors of the rainbow and listing the top 10 polishes in each color family that are my favorite from my own personal collection. And if you've missed any of these, I will link up in the cards the playlist containing the first set of these videos. Last time we did blue, we're just going, Roy G. Biv order, and then of course I will do like my black, my gold, silvers, all that at the end. But right now we are at the end of the rainbow with purple. So purple is currently, unsurprisingly, the largest portion of my collection, clocking in at 226 polishes. I hate saying that out loud because when I posted my yellow video, I immediately got like a text from my dad and he was like, "Oh, you only have 47 yellows or whatever." I was like, "Dad, get out of here. We don't need your negativity." So I have a feeling I'm going to get a text from him and be like, 226? Like, what is going on over there? But so I feel like purple is kind of like a way of life for some people. If you've ever seen Breaking Bad, the character Marie, everything in her home, from like pillows to her KitchenAid mixer to every utensil, it was all purple. And I actually know some people like that in real life, like their wedding registry, everything was purple. And I feel like I'm very close to becoming one of those people. I love purple a lot, but I don't want to be one of those people whose entire life is dictated by a single color. So I channel it into this. So that's why I have so many purple nail polishes, I think. I just feel very compelled to buy things that are purple. And I don't want everything in my home to be purple. I don't want to be one of those weird purple people, even though I have a lot of potential to become one. So I'm just a purple nail polish person. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let me scoot over so that I can have some space for my swatch photos, and I will tell you about my top 10 favorite purples in my collection at this moment. So number 1 is going to be Different Dimensions Neutrino. Now, I remember this is my very first multi-chrome polish I ever bought. I was in college. This was one of the first indie purchases I had ever made. I remember thinking, like, I think Different Dimension is like 10 or 11 bucks a bottle. So really reasonable in the indie sphere. But up to that point, I had only really been buying drugstore. So I was like, wow, my first expensive polish purchase, And I didn't own any multi-chrome, duochrome type polishes. So I was so excited to get this into my hot little hands. It came in the mail and I was like, I gotta wear that. And I was entirely disappointed. Because when I put it on, it didn't look like it did on the website. It was just kind of a very light wash of color. You couldn't even see the color flip. And I remember being like, I can't believe I spent my, like, an hour's wage on this polish. I was so upset. Like, no matter how much you tried to build it up, it doesn't build up. And I'm just like, what did I do? Like, why can't I get this to look like the picture on the website? And then I did a little research and I found out some multi-chromes need to be layered over a black base. And at that time, for some reason, I didn't even have a black nail polish. And so I told my boyfriend, I was like, we gotta go to Meijer. We gotta go to Meijer right now. And we went to Meijer, and I remember picking up this Sinful Colors black polish. I think it was called like Back to Black or Black on Black or something like that. It was like $3, $2 or $3. And I get it home and I open it up and it smelled so bad. It was like the most rancid, toxic smelling nail polish. I don't know why that one smelled so bad, but I had to try it, and I put it on and then I layered this over the top of it, and the result was amazing. Like, I'm so glad that I didn't like give up on it, because I mean, look at this polish. Like, it's so cool. And this was my first ever multi-chrome, like I said. And at the time I had to go to the post office for some reason, and I just remember the postal worker, he was like, "Dang girl, your nails look great." And I'm like, thank you. So, I mean, how could I not? Like, I don't know why I still remember that one random postal worker giving me a compliment over this specific polish, but it was just, once I figured out how to use it correctly, it became a favorite. And this is still, when I think about multi-chromes, my mind immediately reverts to this because this is the first one that I ever got in my collection. Next is Studio M's Vintage Vamp, and before I just completely jostle this, look at the fill line on that. Like, I'm not lying. I like this polish. This is a Studio M polish. That's a Meijer brand polish. It was $2.99. And there's something about, now I'm going to shake it up because you guys saw the fill line. It's just got that shimmery purple. I love shimmery purples. I think that most of my purples, I mean, I have a lot of other specialty finishes, but if you broke it down by finish, the biggest percentage would probably be some sort of shimmer in the purple. And like looking over here, that kind of tracks shimmer or like a metallic. But yeah, this one, it's a lighter purple than I would usually wear. I don't typically like purples in this tone. And I think the name is really bad. Why is this called Vintage Vamp? Like, this is not vampy at all. This is the opposite of vampy. This is like eye-searing goodness. It's not vampy. Like, when I think of vampy, I think of like La Mosse by Butter London. It's just this like dark, deep jelly red. I don't think of this like fun candy, almost pink purple, but it's got a blue flash running through it. Really pretty color. The bottle's ugly though. They don't make them in this bottle anymore. I don't even know if they make this particular color anymore, and look at this brush. It is so long and so skinny. But because the polish is fairly easy to work with, I have no issues with the brush. But yeah, really love this color. Oh, and one more thing about this one. I have thought for a while that Meijer brand was by the same brand that did Color Club. And somebody recently confirmed to me in my comments that it is in fact a private labeled Color Club product. So there are some overlaps with the Meijer brand colors versus the Color Club colors. So if anybody can tell me what they think the Color Club color is that goes to or corresponds to Vintage Vamp, if there is one, I would love to hear it, because you saw my bottle's like half full, and now I'm like, actually, it's more like a third full, and now I'm kind of afraid to use it anymore and totally use it up. I know that's like a bad attitude to have, but I would like to at least just know that there's something out there that looks similar. Number 3 is, of course, another shimmery purple. This is Kelli's Solar Flare. This is a one that recently came out that Kelli Marissa made with the Orly Color Labs, and she sold in a trio. The initial one that she made, she did it in a video, and it was the actual opposite of this. It was a blue base with a purple shimmer, and then for the trio, they made this one, and then they made, what was it, Kelli's Antimatter, which is kind of the more black with like, I think red and blue glitters running through it. But yeah, this one is just right up my alley, another purple with a blue flip to it. I'm a sucker for those, as you can see. Next, we have kind of an unusual one from Zoya. This is called Adina, and this is just such like an alien color to me. Like, it reminds me of old alien sci-fi, like the comic books, the old TV shows, that sort of a thing, like vintage alien-based sci-fi stuff. It's kind of more of a dusty leaning violet, and it has a green flip in it. And it's got kind of a metallic finish at the end there. And it's just kind of a whole spooky, abducted vibe. And I love it. I actually wore this for a few days last week, I think it was. So I'm really enjoying this polish. And I've worn this one multiple times. So you know it's one that I like in my collection when it's got more than one wear. With this one, it does go on a little bit, not streaky, but you know when you're putting on a metallic, sometimes you can see those lines, those brush strokes. But if you, on your final coat, are just careful and, you know, very precise with that, like, stroke motion, it will be almost unnoticeable. And unless someone is, like, looking at your nails like this close, you don't have to worry about it. People are not gonna be that, like, weird, I hope. Next, we have a color that just physically hurts to look at, and I'm sure my camera will not read it that way, but go look at this in a store and you'll be like, ow, my eyes. This is Essie's Tangoed in Love. It's really rare for me to have Essies on my list because I just don't typically buy them anymore. I don't dislike the brand or anything like that. It's just, there's not a lot that really pulls me in. Although my sister, she did text me the other day and she was like, I got this Essie that looks like Grimace, like the McDonald's character. And she's like, do you have this one? And I was like, no, but now I want it from the description alone. But yeah, this color is one that really stood out to me from their lineup because until I would say the past couple of years, they really didn't do a lot of bright colors that often. It's a lot more pinky nude type colors or like reds, very easy to wear type stuff. And it's only in the recent years that they've really been putting out these more fun pops and things like that at a more frequent level. But I don't know, this one, it was just, I remember seeing it in the store and being like, wow, I really like that. And it took me a long time to pick it up because at that point I still wasn't really, like I had slowly tapered off from buying Essies, but I just kept coming back to it and coming back to it. And it sat on my wish list for a little bit. And I think when I made like an order from Trans Design or one of those nail polish wholesalers, I ended up throwing this in and I really like it. This one has their new brush, which is that wider flat brush. And this is honestly much better for their formula. I think that changing the brush was a huge benefit for them because every polish that I have from them with that new brush is so much easier applied. So I think that was probably another reason why I just strayed away from Essie, was that brush was so bad. But one thing I will say with this polish, it does dry down matte. And if you have any imperfections in your nails, as you can see, they show very clearly. So either have perfect, beautiful nails, unlike mine, or you can throw a glossy top coat on it and wear it glossy, and then that won't show as much. Or something that I do sometimes do with matte polishes is I will put a glossy top coat over it to kind of take over those imperfections. And then when that dries, I'll throw a matte top coat on over the top of that, and that will kind of mitigate some of that. But this is such a cool color. I really like it. Number 6 on my list is Ice Cream Nails Blackberry Mousse. And this is one of those kind of lighter pastel-y type tones. I like pastel polish. It's just that sometimes it can look super washed out on me, especially in the winter when I haven't been getting any sun at all, as opposed to the summer where I get like a few minutes of sun. I don't know who I'm trying to kid here. I don't go out in the sunlight. But yeah, this one, even though it is pastel, it is not one of those like chalky washed out ones. And I know that some people find that these bottles, I've heard a couple YouTubers say that they feel like these bottles look like cheap or like dollar store type polishes. I totally disagree. I think it's a great gimmick. I think they're very cute. I think that if you're not used to the cap, they can be a little bit difficult to work with just because they are tapered. However, once you get used to that, it's not really that big of a deal. But one of the reasons I immediately was drawn to this color was because I realized this is a color that I'm drawn to a lot in my life because look at my phone case. It's very similar in tone. It just has a very like pastel grunge feel in my opinion. And so that's why I really enjoy this color. And also I think that a purple like this is just a lot more easy to incorporate in everyday life than those really like deep, dark, moodier purples. I don't know. There's just something like royal purples I feel like are super hit or miss with me. A lot of times I don't know, I associate them with kind of like stuffy, ornate, fancy pillows and furniture and things like that. So I don't love those super dark purples too much typically, but lighter purples, I can always get behind those. So next is one that is almost brand new to my collection, but I'm sorry, the name, the color, the smell, it could not go on this list, and that is Color Club's Lucky Charm. This one is, it deserves a top spot. It's so good. It's sparkly, it's multi-chrome, it has my favorite gimmick, which is scented nail polish. So it's a lot of fun. This is limited edition, so if it's still available at the time that I post this, I will link it down below, but it's just like, it's purple and it's green because it's got that like flip, and then all these like hollow glitters running through it. And then it smells so sweet, like a marshmallow. It's everything. It's everything I ever wanted. This is me as a nail polish. I swear to God, like it's obnoxious in all the best ways. And that's all I'll say on that one. Next is from a drugstore brand. This is Sinful Colors Let's Talk. And this one, I just saw at the grocery store and threw in the cart on a whim. It's funny, it just reminds me, back when we used to go grocery shopping together, my boyfriend and I, we don't anymore because of everything that's going on in the globe. Only one of us goes, and usually that's him because I don't go anywhere. But when we would go together, the first thing we would do is grab a cart, and then he would make a beeline for the nail polish aisle because he was like, let's get this out of the way right now because I know that's where you want to be. And it just became like a habit that every time we went into a store, the first thing we would do was go to the nail polish aisle, and then we would do our shopping. And I don't know, that just kind of reminded me of this because that's exactly what happened. We went into Meijer, made a beeline for the nail polish cosmetics area, and I saw this metallic, like deep purple, but it's like, it's so bright, like jewel tone purple. It's so pretty, and I was like, I gotta have it. And I'm like, it's so funny because if I stand there and I'm like trying to compare and like think about like, oh, for too long, he'll just grab the polishes from my hands and put them both in the cart. And he's like, just get them both. You know you want them both. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He's like the worst enabler. But yeah, this one was just one of those quick grocery store grabs. And it ended up being a really pretty purple. I feel like Sinful Colors is unexpectedly good. Aside from that one black polish that I got, like that I was talking about at the beginning of this video that smelled like toxic, like these, that one doesn't smell toxic. Don't smell your nail polish, but that one does not smell toxic. This one smells fine. I don't know what was going on with that other one, but this one is fine. Like I said, it's a really nice, it just reminds me of jewels. Like, you know, in a cartoon when they open up a treasure chest and it's filled with like gold and all these like beautiful colored jewels, like this is the color purple that I want to see in that treasure chest. So yeah, that is my really long-winded, convoluted way of saying I really like Let's Talk by Sinful Colors. Next we have Loud Lacquers Julia. Now this is when I was first browsing their website, one of the first ones that ever went on my wish list. I guess it's like I have a type when it comes to purples. It's shimmers and metallics for some reason. And I'm not even like a huge metallics fanatic, but for some reason, purple metallics, especially like purple jewel tone metallics, they really get me. And this is no different. And this is actually kind of one of those more royal toned purples that I was just saying I don't usually care for. But this one is just the right amount of dark. It's not too dark. And so I actually ended up enjoying this one, and I like their brush. It's very wide. It did take me some getting used to because I don't know, I just didn't expect it to be so wide. But it is a nice brush. I like those wider brushes. They're, especially because the longer my nails get, the harder it is to get enough polish on skinnier brushes. So brushes like this just make coverage so much easier. But yeah, like I said, this was one of the first ones on my wish list. And then when I finally decided to get off my butt and make a purchase from them, it was the first one in my cart because it was stuck in my head. It was on the forefront of my mind. And I was like, first I got to put Julia in, and then I can decide on the rest. And then the last one I have to share with you from my collection is Karaya Polishes the Psychedelic Grape. And in my swatch photo, I layer it over black. I think it looks best that way. It's hard to build up if it doesn't have that black base to reflect off of. But this is one of those that it's not as bright as this, but I feel like they're kind of in that same color tone of purple. Like if I was going to group types of purple, I would put these in the same group. And it has a bit of a flip to it. Depending on the angle, it can look kind of green or gold. And as you know, I love purple and I love green. So when it's purple with a green flip, I mean, who am I kidding? But it's a really pretty color. And one thing I will say about these polishes that you have to layer over a different color in order to really get them to work. When I was younger, I used to really hate that. I used to be really annoyed by that. And I was like, well, what's the point? I got to buy like multiple polishes to layer and blah, blah, blah. But I'm starting to realize you can just get away with one coat of this over black or white, and it's perfect. Karaya Polish is still on a break, I believe. I've signed up for their email list for when they come back, but she is one of the makers that had a baby in the last like year or so and is taking some time off from polish making to focus on that sort of a thing, which kind of necessary, right? But hopefully she comes back soon, and hopefully she brings back a lot of old favorites, because I only purchased from her right when she was going on her break. So I got like 6 polishes and I was like, oh my God, I love all of these. And now I can't even get any more of them. So I think this is a really cool brand. I really like their stuff so far and I hope she comes back soon. So yeah, these are my 10 polishes that I was able to narrow down out of my, what did I say at the beginning? 248? 226. I had to double check. Out of my 226 purples, those were the 10 that right now in my heart I feel are my favorites. Definitely subject to change, you know, personal tastes change a lot, and it's really hard to take when you have 226 of something and be like, these are the top ones that I couldn't live without. I think that you would have to really like put some real threat of me losing all of the purples for me to just truly from the bottom of my heart pull the top 10. But this was a challenging one, but not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. With my favorite greens video, which was really hard, it was just because I had so many, it was hard to really narrow it down. But with my purples, the problem was more that I have a lot of similar in each tone. So it's like I have a lot of more like jewel tone metallic purples. So it was more like, which of the jewel tone metallic purples is my favorite? And it's, you can see, you know, I had a few that have that like purple with the blue shimmer running through it in here. You know, it's like, that's a common one. And this sort of color tone, I have a ton of these. I really love this tone of purple. So it was like, it was more of a, I knew exactly the types of purples I wanted, but it was picking the exact polish that embodied that was the struggle here this time. So yeah, those are my top 10 purples. Next on, I think we're going to be doing the neutral tones of like browns, blacks, grays, and whites. And I don't know if I'm going to combine any of those or each one gets its own dedicated video. We'll kind of see. And then golds and silvers will each get their own video. And then maybe I'll do my top 10 toppers as well, because I do have a lot of toppers. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys would rank as your top purples in your collection. I would love to go check them out. Please enable me a little bit. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.